Welcome to our new video. This is the InSky 5.5-liter XXL air fryer. We tested it for you and you'll find out everything you need to know in this video. So just stay tuned. Let's dive into the InSky XXL air fryer. Before we get to the practical test, we'll give you a brief overview of the product, focusing on features and technology. The InSky has a power of 1,700 watts and a capacity of 5.5 liters. This should be enough for 5 to 6 servings. 7 predefined programs, known as presets, can be selected via the LED touchscreen. Of course, you can also adjust the settings individually. The temperature here ranges from 80 to 200 degrees Celsius. When the set time is up, you receive an alert sound. The dimensions of the InSky are 32.5 by 31.5 centimeters, with a depth of 37 centimeters, which is reasonable. Competitors with a similar capacity have comparable specs. If you want to put the fryer away after each use, the InSky has handles at the bottom to make it easier to move. This device has 2 special features. Firstly, the preset options have been expanded with defrost, preheat, and keep warm modes, and there is also a scheduling function. You'll get a recipe book with 32 recipes and a beginner's guide with some amusing translations. Otherwise, the fryer is securely placed on non-slip feet and has a sufficiently long cable measuring approximately 110 centimeters. By the way, if you want to know where to buy this air fryer as cheaply as possible, check out the description below the video. There you'll find all the links. So much for some general information about the InSky air fryer. Let's get to the main point, namely our practical test. The first thing we want to look at is how to use the device or how to operate it correctly. So let's go through it together. First, place the fryer on a heat-resistant surface and leave some space around the device so that the heat can dissipate. Then, before using it for the first time, clean the device. At least rinse or wipe out the inserts. Once everything is dry, plug it in and you can start using it. Press the power button and now you have options. You can either choose one of the 7 preset programs or individually set the temperature and time using the plus and minus buttons. You can also hold them down to scroll through the values faster. Once you've made your selection, press the start button to get the air fryer going. The settings for preheating, keeping warm, and defrosting can be found at the top of the display. There's also a scheduling function there, letting you delay the start of the air fryer by a certain time. That's all about the operation, but before we start cooking, I want to quickly mention the presets. These presets are generally good and helpful when you're not familiar with the device or trying new products. But don't rely on them too much. Open it now and then, take a look, see how well it's cooking, how everything's developing, and then you can still decide if you should flip things around or even adjust the settings for the perfect result. Just remember, the presets are essentially just rough guidelines. So in our test, we didn't rely too heavily on the preset programs and adjusted ourselves if needed. And behold, this approach led to generally really good cooking results. And this holds true for nearly all air fryers in our test. Fries come out crispy on the outside and tender inside. You need to be careful not to let them dry out too much. But basically, you get a good, tasty result. The same goes for chicken nuggets. We also tried it with wings. We have a visually very nice result here as well. Everything's cooked through and tastes good. Vegetables are tricky with these fryers. The hot air dries them out super quickly and then they burn very easily. Our tip: things you usually make in a pot should stay in the pot. But if you want grilled vegetables, go ahead. Just make sure to use some oil. Also, keep an eye on their cooking progress and adjust temperatures as needed to get good results. Baking, however, works quite well. We tried it with muffins and they rose nicely, firm on the outside and fluffy on the inside. Good results overall. Good cooking results. What more could we ask for? Actually, we wanted less, namely less fat. That's what the manufacturers of these air fryers promise. And it's true. Since we're not deep frying the food in oil, but cook it with hot air instead, the food simply ends up with less fat overall. In the end, we can say that we taste more of the food again because it's no longer covered in fat. All good and well, but how is the handling? Is using such an air fryer even practical? It basically depends a lot on the specific device. The InSky comes with a drawer consisting of a cooking basket and tray. Such a drawer has the advantage that you find it easier to turn the food than in a traditional oven. As the InSky's drawer also weighs relatively little, you don't have to exert yourself too much while shaking. It is also helpful that the device stops when the drawer is removed, which makes handling a little more convenient. We should mention that unfortunately, the basket isn't fully closed at the top, so crumbs or the like might fly out when turning. All in all, though, it's still acceptable. The InSky's basket isn't as open as, let's say, the Severin device. In terms of noise, the InSky was the loudest in our test at around 70 decibels. This can create a distracting noise level, especially for those who like to have a chat in the same room. On the flip side, the heat development is manageable. The handle stays cool and the plastic housing doesn't seem to heat up as much compared to many other air fryers we tested. Just be cautious with the drawer. You can really feel the heat there. The air vent on the back also emits hot air, so the warning symbol should be noted. And as a reminder, you can find the link to the InSky air fryer below the video in the description. And if the video was helpful to you, give us a like and subscribe to our channel. Regarding the look, we feel the manufacturer definitely tried to make something out of it. The plastic with a wave design on the top front and the brushed look on the rest of the fryer are accents you won't find in many competing products. In terms of build quality, the gaps are okay for this price range. There are a few spots that aren't perfectly fitted, but overall it's acceptable. The materials used make a good impression too. On the other hand, the protective cap for the cooking basket outlet seems quite flimsy, and you might feel it won't last forever. Moreover, some customers noticed a chemical smell not just when unpacking or first using, but also after prolonged use. However, we couldn't confirm that in our test. After the second full day of use, the InSky didn't emit a chemical smell anymore. When it comes to cleaning, let the device cool down first so it's safe to handle. Both the tray and basket can go in the dishwasher. The housing is best wiped down with a damp cloth. Let's get to the conclusion. With the InSky 5.5-liter XXL air fryer, you get a mid-range device that performs solidly overall. Only the noise level, the not completely closed basket, and the wobbly protective cover were somewhat negative in our test, but overall, they only result in minor deductions. Apart from that, the device delivered good results in terms of heat development, build quality, and operation. Combined with the additional presets and the integrated planning function, it definitely has the potential to make even advanced air fryer chefs happy. So, I've tested this air fryer for you. If you're particularly interested in the product, then check out the video description below. You can find all the links there. Otherwise, I'd be happy if you stick around. Our end card will follow with some interesting video suggestions for you.